This is the Naked Mormon History Travelogue for April 8th, 2017. Today was quite fascinating. The day isn't over yet. There's still more to do, but I spent the beginning of today, I woke up as early as I could to get out to the Joseph Smith Home Visitor Center to, go through the tour there, to see the missionaries, watch the videos, and do all of the various tour things and see the Sacred Grove, as it is well known. And it was fascinating because this is, the Sacred Grove is where all of the church began. All of Mormon lineage shares a common ancestry with what supposedly happened in that Sacred Grove and the Palmyra Joseph Smith farm that they lived on. So the church owns this little property where they have the Joseph Smith log cabin as well as the Smith frame home. The log cabin is where when the Smiths moved to New York from I think it was from somewhere else in New York, and then previously they were in Vermont before that. When they moved to the Palmyra, Manchester area, they purchased 60 acres of land, and they had to clear it, and they used all of the timber that they cleared in order to build their log home, the Smith log home. And the church has reconstructed the log home, and now it's, a hotspot tourist location for any Mormons who are seeking their Mormon Mecca. And this is, it's right, it just butts up against the forest that enters into the Sacred Grove, which is absolutely beautiful. So I spent the morning going through the tour at the Smith family home, and I didn't go through the frame home because I felt like it was going to be just like all of the other homes, and the Smiths didn't actually spend any extended amount of time there. They began building it in, I think it was 24 or something to that effect, 1824, but it wasn't really... I don't know. I don't think they even completed it. I could be wrong, but I don't think they even completed it by the time they left New York. So they spent the majority of their time in that Smith log home. And it was fascinating, to say the least, to see the log home that they've reconstructed. And I guess this is a bit of a testament to how the church does everything right. Okay. So they had the farm, this home built, but they put the caveat in the contract with whatever contracting company they used that they had to use time period tools in order to do it. And I don't know if this was, intentional or not, but they also constructed it in the winter, just as the Smiths would have done when they were clearing the field and they were building their own log cabin. So the cabin was built exactly the same way that the Smiths would have built it. And you can see in all of the boards and the rafters, the marks from the planes that the builders were using, because they're old, crude planes. They don't have an 18,000 RPM motor plugged into a 120 volt wall socket to spin a blade that planes it perfectly and shaves off, a quarter of an inch of wood with each pass. All of those numbers are probably wrong, but you get the idea. They're using hand planers, hand saws, hand everything in order to, I guess, make it authentic. I don't see the point behind that, but it does add to the feel, I guess. When you walk in, it makes it feel a little bit different. So the Smith home is a complete reconstruction. They have the downstairs area, and they had the table with what they claimed was the Smith family Bible. And I said, there's no way to verify that. And the sister missionary who was giving us a tour kind of nodded and chuckled a little bit. And then we went upstairs, and that's when they talked about the angel Moroni appearing to them. And I said, well, it wasn't the angel Moroni. And she said, well, according to the Joseph Smith history, it is. I said, well, he wasn't named Moroni for many years after it happened. It was just a nameless angel, a messenger, as the Smiths called it. And then it was termed the angel Nephi, I believe in 1842. And then it was changed to Moroni soon after that. So it didn't become the angel Nephi until, 20 plus years after it was just, this angel was just called a messenger. Yeah, kind of a fascinating point, but she deflected. She moved on because there was a big group of people, and obviously believing Mormons don't want to hear questions like that thrown around at the tour guides. So she deflected, moved on, and then continued to tell us about how, there would have been the 5 Smith boys in this room, and then the 4 Smith girls in the other room at the time that the angel appeared, and so on and so forth. And just showed the beds that they would have been sleeping on, 3 and 2 kids in each bed. And it's just, I can't imagine what it was like to grow up in that home with 11 people in the family. Just, I can't even imagine. And then when Emma moved in, I mean, that I guess that brought it from 10 back up to 11. That was like, not any space for Joseph and Emma to be newlyweds. Like it brought the whole thing to realization. I always feel bad for my friends that, like they got married and continued to live in their parents' basement after they got married, because you need a time away to be newlyweds, to actually grow into your couplehood and to, get to know each other much better. But those people always, those select few friends, it seemed like they were kind of frustrated. There was extra stress on their relationship, on their newly burgeoning relationship that didn't need to be there. So I can't imagine what it was like for Joseph and Emma in this place. After going and touring through the log home, I just jogged down the road and went to the Smith family cooper shop and their barn. Now, it turns out that the barn that they have there isn't actually an original barn, but rather was Brigham Young's barn that was pulled off of its foundation and shipped over to the Smith ranch, the Smith family home in Palmyra, and put on the foundation of the old Smith barn. It was incredible. There's the threshing floor where they would have threshed their wheat, the little horse stables there, and various like little rooms inside this barn that were used for other farming activities. And it's just seeing all of these places just goes to show that the church spares no expense in putting these places together. I mean, everything is done meticulous and perfect, and they pour millions of dollars into these tourist locations to make them perfect for them. So, yeah, after touring around the Palmyra area, I did not, and I'm still kicking myself for this because I could have done it. I had enough time. I didn't go to the E.B. Grandin Printing Press. And I'm still frustrated because apparently they have an original 1830 Book of Mormon in there that I'd like to see. And they have, it's set up just like the printing press, the Grandin Printing Press was set up. So it's, it looks like a time period specific printing press. I've seen one in Kirtland. I've seen one in Nauvoo. I saw one in Missouri. I've seen these renditions of these printing presses, but none of those that I've seen are actually responsible for churning out the Book of Mormon. So, the E.B. Grandin Printing Press is something special. But after that, I sped down the road to get to the Whitmer farm, just so I would have enough time that I could get to my final location this evening, which is where I'm sitting and recording this from. And the Whitmer farm was interesting. I did a Facebook Live event there, and it's on it's on my Facebook page, and I don't know. I don't know. I guess I can't really tell anything about it that I didn't already talk about in the video. But the Whitmer farm is where a significant portion of the Book of Mormon was authored. And the Whitmers were believing members in the church for many years until they were excommunicated. And the Danite Manifesto chased them out of Clay and Caldwell counties. So, they were believing members for 8 some odd years. And founding members. They were witnesses to the plates. Then after going through the tour there with the elder and sister missionary, I was the only person there because the weather was just starting to get good, but it was still really bitter cold. The sun was shining, but it's been a really cold day today. So I spoke with the missionaries, and of course I had them to myself, which is the best. I love, the best part about coming out on this tour at this time of year in March and April is there aren't any tourists out here. And now spring break is over. So there's just nobody but me and the missionaries there to talk. And it's fun. It was really cool. And we proceeded to watch this new David Whitmer film that the church just now released. And it's an extension of the Oliver Cowdery film that they showed me in Harmony. No, where did I see that? Oh, I saw that one actually in Liberty Jail. They weren't supposed to show it to me there, but I did watch it there. So that was part 1, and then part 2 is the David Whitmer section. So there's like Days of Harmony and Days of Eternity. And they actually got pretty close to the historical accuracy, but of course I talk more about it in the Facebook Live video, so be sure to watch that for today's date, which is once again April 8th, 2017. And yeah, that's essentially been the day. And I hopped in my car after the Whitmer Ranch tour and just proceeded to drive to the Tindell home here. And I'm looking forward to spending a good evening hanging out with my friend here, Jonathan Tindell. And it's been a really positive couple of days. I've enjoyed it, and I guess that's about all I have to report for today. Thanks for listening.